Welcome back. I am the host of this show, Mike Briggs. By the way, the show is called Artists and Authors. Guess who we have on the show? Artists and authors. And we usually we're Central Valley Talk. It's usually Central Valley artists and authors. But after COVID and we learned how to use Zoom, I talked to an artist today, interviewed an artist from Sicily, Italy this week, and also somebody from Vancouver, Canada. So we're talking to people all over the world. But still, we keep finding the best artists right here in the Central Valley. Tiffany Wright is our artist. Art from the Soul.
Yes.
Just as we're talking about it a little bit, I'm just going to pop some of these pictures up here so people get an idea what we're talking about. I'm doing this without the assistance of a whole production staff right now. But you know what caught our eye is the colors. And they're happy. All your pictures are happier so far. Maybe we'll get to a sad one. I know it's coming up to Christmas season. There's a Christmas tree decorated, a ho-ho-ho, and a beautiful wreath. Tiffany Wright. Tell us about your art, Tiffany.
Well, I try to keep it very intuitive and very, like you said, very colorful because that's kind of what draws me in, and it draws my eye to colorful work that artists do. And so I try to keep it very colorful. And I do a lot of watercolor, which can be kind of subdued. But
I was going to ask, what's your medium? Is that mostly watercolor?
Mostly watercolor and acrylic, some acrylic, and which is more abstract. But I try to make my watercolors a little more vibrant, like those that are shown right there. Mm-hmm. And
these are watercolors?
Yes.
Yeah, usually watercolors seem a little dull to me.
Kind of washed out.
Yeah.
But no, I make them
vibrant.
A little brighter, yeah.
Sending a message there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like to send messages, and I try to paint things that come from my heart, like the beach, the surfboards, and that type of thing.
Right. Now, I love these questions. I asked you earlier, are you from Fresno? And you told me a little story, your dad?
Well, yeah, my grandfather. Yeah, my whole family's been here since the beginning of time, and I mean, I even my father passed away this last February, and I found even receipts that my grandmother saved. My grandfather was an attorney here in town for 60 years in the Security Bank building, but I found receipts that she'd saved from her descendants. That for an oxen for $3.50, receipts of that nature,
What was the family name of your grandpa?
Green.
Green, okay.
Green, yes.
So Attorney Green,
Mm-hmm.
downtown lawyer,
yeah.
And you're in the legal business a little bit too?
Yes,
yeah.
30 years, yeah.
Now, I could just look at in fact, you sent me so many pictures, I had to pick amongst them. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't stop looking at them. And this one is really, really something.
Now that one is hanging. I did that one kind of on a whim. I had started doing some abstract on. It was a very large format canvas. I mean, giant. And I ended up giving that to my daughter and her roommates because they just moved into an apartment and they have it hanging in their living room.
They had a space and.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
No,
they
I
love it.
Out of the dozens and dozens you sent, I pulled that one out specifically.
Yeah.
And this one. It's very, oops, that's not yours there. Maybe we run out. Oh, this is yours.
Oh, and those, the weird series that I did, I had a whim, and I kind of started doing these faces, and because all artists are kind of weird to an extent, and I embrace that weirdness. I mean, there's quotes about it. Embrace your weirdness. I mean, own it, whatever. But I started doing these faces, and I made T-shirts out of them as well, and so they sold really well.
I can see those being T-shirts, yeah. Well, the reason we chose you out of all the art, we have so many artists on, I want something different, and you do something different. It's very, very, very good. So,
thank you.
By the way, can people buy your art?
Oh, yes, yes.
I always forget to ask that.
I attend art shows. I haven't been able to do too many over the last year because of family circumstances, but I'm starting to get back into it. But my artwork's on Instagram, and it's always available for sale through me. Yeah.
Okay, and that's how we'd contact you, is on Instagram?
Yeah, or my phone number or email.
Oh, we got your phone right on the screen. Look at that, 285-3116, I think. I can't see that well anymore. Also, Tiffany Wright Art.
From the Soul.
Art from the Soul. Art from the Soul. All one word, no spaces, no underscores.
That's Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Yeah. Tiffany Wright Art from the Soul. Go there and check out her work. It caught our eye. Tell me about this. This is a book. that you did.
Yeah.
Tell me about the book and the inspiration.
That's kind of how I started out doing this kind of artwork. My son passed away in 2011 from, he was a student at Central High, and he was 17. And so I kind of started getting back into art through my grief, and it helped me through the first year and a half or 2 years of dealing with that. And I one thing led to another, and I had all these letters of the alphabet done, and so I decided to self-publish this book. And it did kind of well, but it kind of took on a life of its own because of the introduction that kind of talked about my son's death and wearing your seatbelt and being a high school student, that kind of thing, and the grief. And church groups started kind of taking it up as kind of a study guide and a help to them, and it took on kind of a life of its own. And so that's still available through Amazon or through Me Cheaper. But that was a really cathartic, circumstance for me.
That's incredible that you wrote it kind of for your own purpose, but other people were able to benefit from it.
Yes, and that makes me feel good, and it made me feel like I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's lost a child. There are so many mothers out there who have lost children.
I'm going to say the title, see if I can do it. Inspired Tangles, a book of Zen tangibles and thoughtful inspiration. And each page, and it's hard to express this, but each page starts with a letter that you created, the letter A, for example. The light's hitting it, you can't see it. The book is a work of art in itself, trust me. And very moving, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. I'll read it before you get home, probably,
today.
What else do you want our viewers to know? How can they buy the book? Through the Instagram? Or
They can buy it through Amazon, and just Google, just search my name, and it'll come up. Or contact me through my phone number or my email. And
sometimes I like to go direct to the artist because
it's a lot cheaper.
A little cheaper.
Yeah,
I love a book.
I'd rather have them do that.
I love to meet the person, and you've written in there.
And I like to sign the books.
Yeah, and they're signed. So go to Instagram and send Tiffany a message. Tell me more about the book, or where can I buy it, or where can we meet to get it. And also, if you're not writing her number down and you think later, I wish I would have, call me at Central Valley Talk. I'll give you Tiffany's direct number if that's okay.
Sure, fine.
What else do you want our viewers to know?
Just that, art is a really, for anyone that's struggling with depression or not knowing where they're going in life, it's just been a real, I was always artistic when I was going through high school and that type of thing. My mom was an artist, or is an artist. She can't see so well anymore, but she got me into the art shows and that type of thing. But it really is a cathartic way to, kind of heal yourself. And it certainly did for me. And it brought my own artistic talents back up to the surface. And it's my passion. I wish I could make a full-time living of it, but that hasn't happened yet. Anyway, so.
Well, I know we're way out of time, but let me just backtrack a little. You're exposed to art through your mother.
Yes.
And but
my whole family's been artistic.
But let's say there's somebody grieving out there and they've never done any art. Where could they start? Like watercolors or?
Sure, or call me.
Call Tiffany, okay.
Yeah.
She's been through some stuff, and art helped her pull out of it, or helps her maintain. And if you're having a dark day and you've been through something like that, art might be the way.
It takes your mind off of things, and it just gets you into a different zone.
Very good. Inspiring. You're inspiring. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Tiffany Wright, Art from the Soul. And just go to Instagram and type all those words I just said. Tiffany Wright, Art from the Soul, into Instagram, and it'll pop up. And or phone her up. There's her phone number. Oh, I forgot. I'm doing all the clicking here. Our staff is out at their college classes or something like that. So I've got to do all this clicking there. And we'll leave with one of your pictures on the screen. How's that? Not that one, but that one.
Okay.
We'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.